Arthur, just what have you done, man? Before we hop in this review of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, please drop your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below, leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. What's up guys, I got the pencil here, and here we are to review Chapter 6 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse. And I am excited. You wanna know why? Because I got to see more of my best boy Pelgar. That's all I needed. The chapter's an automatic 27 out of 5 for that reason alone. Okay, well, let's actually get into the chapter itself. So, we see this twisted mess of a world that I'm assuming is supposed to be Camelot, or at least part of Camelot. One of the many worlds probably tied to Camelot. And we see that Pelgar is walking here from somewhere. I honestly have no idea where he is, but this seems to be in its own little separate space. Something that isn't connected to the real world, because I doubt people just wouldn't notice a gigantic floating planetoid with multiple towers coming out of it. Seems oddly strange. And we see these weird monsters supposedly guarding and lighting the way that Pelgar is walking. I wouldn't say they're demons, and at the same time, they kind of look like earth golems, but I can't tell if they're golems. I can't tell if they're real creatures. I'm going to assume they're real creatures that just have like rocky texture appearances that look like statues, but they're all holding flames. And they don't have eyes, but they seem to be like watching over Pelgar as he walks. And we see all these different knights, all of whom I'm assuming are going to be different villains for the series, all these different groups. Maybe we won't see all of them, but like the ones we actually get details on, these are all going to be different villains. And the person, this oracle, or I'm assuming the oracle, maybe he's just a guy that relays the news of the prophecies, he's talking to every single knight. And he's talking about this new prophecy that they've heard. He calls it a great boon to the streamline of the four-knight search. And we see Ironside again. And then Pelgar, he just swags on in with his good old hello, everyone keeping up the good work. And no one really looks at him, at least from what I can tell from that little panel. Like one guy seems to look at him, right? And Ironside looks at him. But other than that, it seems like Ironside and Pelgar are actually pretty good friends. Like, they seem to know each other very well. Pelgar pops a squat next to Ironside. Ironside doesn't seem to complain. And then the Oracle's like, okay, now shut up. I need to keep talking. Now the thing about this Oracle, they look like Merlin's, not necessarily, the cloak itself looks like when Merlin first popped up in the series. Like, we didn't actually see what she looked like. She was hidden underneath this cloak. However, at the same time, this person has like that troll-like appearance. Like, if you remember the side story that gave us backstory into how the Seven Deadly Sins met the Druids, it looks like one of the troll people from there, and they're also holding this weird staff. This is a really interesting character design, and I wonder what they look like actually, and if this is just a lie, if this is a facade, or if this is actually another monster that Arthur may have created, or something along the lines. It seems like an interesting development. It also doesn't seem to have legs, unless it's just the weird shading of the coat. But regardless of that, we get this new information. So one of the four knights is a boy bearing gold-colored magic. I'm gonna assume that's Lancelot. I'm gonna assume that's Lancelot, mainly because of the fact that the other ones don't make sense. Unless, see, there's honestly two options for Lancelot and Diane and King's Kid. But we'll see. Then one, a boy with holiness and evil in his eyes. Obviously, that's gotta be Tristan, the half-goddess, the half-demon. It's gotta be that. One, a mysterious lad with no fixed appearance. Now, I'm more confident that this would be Diane and King's Kid, if only for the fact that probably inherited something close to what Chastieful has, where it can like manipulate its appearance, something along those lines. And actually, no, I'm confident. The boy with bearing gold-colored magic is definitely Lancelot. The boy with holiness is obviously Tristan, and the one, a mysterious lad with no fixed appearance, the reason that he can change his appearance is because he's a fairy. Fairies can change whatever they look like, however they want to do it. So that's definitely it. That he got a lot of his dad's biology along with his mom's. So, yep, there are four knights, and all of them are boys, and it's confirmed, and I'm kind of sad, not gonna lie. But regardless of that, we get a child with verdant wing-like hair, and obviously Ironside freaks out. And before that, the guy seems to know, the person doling out the information of this new prophecy seems to know that they have enemies. I wonder who these enemies are, and how do these enemies know about this? Because obviously, this world seems to be in a separate plane, but we don't know about that. But we'll talk about that in a second. First, we hop back to Pelgar and that young boy. I don't know why. I meant to say Ironside and that young boy Pelgar, because Pelgar's the best character in the series, and I will hear no debate. But regardless of that, we see that Ironside admitted that he failed to kill Tristan. not Tristan, Percival. I'm so sorry. He failed to kill Percival, and obviously Pelgar teases him for that. And then Ironside's like, hey, yo, you acting like he's still alive, though. And Pelgar's like, oh, yeah, he's still alive. And then what I love is that Pelgar is literally, as Ironside's freaking out, like, oh, no, this kid needs to die. Pelgar's like criticizing him on being a bad father and talking about all the potential he could have if he was raised up. And Ironside strikes out at Pelgar. And I'm not sure this is like legitimate like killing intent or just striking intent or to teach him a lesson. I don't know, but it seems like Pelgar kind of poops on Ironside because he casually blocks it. Like Ironside seems to swing with a bunch of his force, causes a whole clash of wind to go off. Pelgar just blocks it with one arm casually, doesn't even dent his armor. So Pelgar may be extremely strong, but who knows? We don't seem to know. And then Ironside gives us the big reveal that the four Knights of the Apocalypse aren't just going to kill Arthur, but they're going to destroy the entire world, a threat to the entire planet. Interesting. And I'm intrigued. I wonder if what of this is true and what of this is fake. Because I'm assuming some of it's fake. And I'm going to address something in a second, but we just cut back to the group, and honestly, this part can be summarized real quick. And we get the Fox's name. The Fox's name is Sin, and he convinces Percival to roll with them and be like, yeah, let's go. We got to go take you to Leonis to get to Camelot. And then we're going to see your dad. Because Sin is basically trying to pull Tristan. I keep saying Tristan. He keeps trying to pull Percival along to the real objective. And the real objective is something about meeting his dad. I think this is just bait. I'm pretty sure Sin is just baiting Tristan to actually come to Leonis. And obviously, that's about it for the chapter. Donnie's coming with. So I guess, shoot, Elba and Kat's just side characters. Like they're not important. Obviously not. We may meet up with them later, but it seems like this is going to be our main trio, at least for a little bit. Donnie, Sin, and Percival. And it's a really good chapter. I like it a lot. Things I have questions about that I gotta question y'all about too. So, how are we rocking with this new world? Like, if this is supposed to be Camelot, are there civilians here? Do people actually live here? Is this just a meeting ground for the Holy Knights? I'm confused. This world obviously conveys something that I was worried about. When Arthur first got his chaos powers, it was like, who's going to teach him how to use these? Because I don't think Chaos can teach anybody. He's just a embodiment of power, very similar to like Ilallah from Manga. He's just a lump of power. He doesn't seem to be able to do much of his own other than create things. And it looks like Arthur created a real mess of a world. Like, this opening page is so messy and chaotic and wild. And I'm assuming it's because of Arthur's own conflicted mental state, but also because he probably just doesn't know how to use it yet. It's been 16 years, so you think he would get some handle on it. Obviously, he hasn't gotten that much of a handle on it if its world is looking like this. And these great monsters, like, were these things that pre-existed? Were they something that were out there in the world beforehand, or did Arthur create these? And if he created these, why do they look like this? Why do they look so twisted? They're just weird monsters and beasts, and I'm just intrigued. However, biggest thing I need to talk about is that I'm assuming, unless Percival really just has stunted growth to the utmost degree, that image we saw of the last chapter of all the four knights wasn't necessarily accurate. It wasn't something that we can actually go by for what their current appearances are going to be. And the reason I say that is because Donnie references the destruction of Camelot as an event that happened 16 years ago. And that means that actually, in all actuality, hold on, let me think. Tristan turned 10 at the end of 7 Deadly Sins. That was 10-year-old Tristan. So we are 6 years past the end of 7 Deadly Sins. But that means since Percival is 16, then he was born the same year Camelot was destroyed, supposedly. And that means from the time of the happy nature of the end of 7 Deadly Sins, 6 years have passed. So I'm so confused now about the timeline, because I thought more time had passed. I thought the rest of the knights were going to be adults, despite how little sense that made. But now we know they're all, at least, unless Diane and King and Elaine and Bond got it on way earlier, which I doubt. So I doubt their kids are that much older than Tristan, and Tristan should be a max of 16. And I'm pretty sure they even waited a bit before having Tristan, unless they just, Catherine's defeated, well, gotta go make babies. And so maybe I'm just confused. If they're all 16, I'm wondering to see what they look like. Because, obviously, if they're all 16, unless, I don't know, Donnie's like 16 too. So maybe Percival just has stunted growth and they all do look like that. I'm intrigued. nonetheless, and obviously, another thing that catches my attention is, other than the weird age continuity stuff like that, or how they're going to look and what the whole situation with Percival is and why he's so tiny, but the other thing that catches my eye is what is in Leonis, because obviously we have Arthur ruling his own little part of the land where he's gone nuts and is doing his darn thing, but what about all the people that he has associated with in the past? Like, what's Meliodas doing right now? Does he know about this prophecy about the 4 knights that are supposedly going to destroy the world? And does he know that his son is one of them? What about King and Diane? Do they know that their son is one of them? If Lancelot is out of the lake, which I'm assuming he must be, considering that's what the end of the side story said, do Bon and Elaine know where their son is? Like, there are questions that I'm wondering about. How widespread is this prophecy? Obviously, Sin's part of a group that opposes these evil knights and Arthur, but who runs this group? I don't know. Is Sin actually like a talking purgatory beast like Hawk was, or is he a controlled puppet? Because initially I thought Sin may have been Merlin, because we still haven't seen Merlin. Like, we got a glimpse of Merlin in this chapter when she's alongside Arthur, who's fully decked out in his crown king attire, which is cool to see. I really like seeing Arthur's old helmet. Like, we rarely ever get to see that thing, but I'm glad to see him in it. But Merlin's there. I'm pretty sure that's Nanashi, and I can see what looks like a young Balgus. Balgus is also there, but I just have so many questions on this timeline now, because it seems, I thought the attack by the Demon Lord was way further in the past than just 16 years. But if only 16 years have passed, I feel like Arthur should have rebuilt his kingdom at that point, and likely not in a separate dimension. But regardless of that, it looks like he may have. Looks like Merlin is still rocking with him, and it looks like Nanashi's still rocking with him. So all these people are still on Arthur's side. But I'm wondering, what's the worldview right now? What is Meliodas thinking about the current situation, if he even knows of the current situation? Because I thought maybe Leonis was being plundered or destroyed or something like that. But if we're to take Sin's words at face value, which, you know, I may kind of not want to do because I don't really trust this fox, Leonis is still around. What about the fairy kingdoms? What about everything else? How are Zeldos and Gelda doing? What's the demon world looking like? What's the celestial realm looking like? Considering the only archangel that's left at this point is Mael. I'm not, no offense to Mael, but he didn't really seem like the leading type. There are so many questions about the world now that I'm intrigued to have. I'm happy to have them. It's cool to be thinking about all this stuff, and I'm glad that this chapter raised all these questions, and I can't wait to see how these people, these 4 knights, are going to destroy the world. Because obviously this little bit where we get to see Ironside's face, which is interesting. I can't tell much of the details about it. It's actually cool that his holes line up so he can breathe and he can see. But I'm intrigued to see how they're gonna destroy the world. The opening image, like the chapter title itself, has Percival screaming and having blood all over him and destroying the world. But I don't know. I'm very intrigued where we are right now. But that's the thing. All I can really do is speculate, because we have so little information at this moment in time that I can't concretely give you all an answer of like, oh, this and that. The only thing I can really confirm for you are like the identities of the knights and which one is which. Like, we know the verdant hair is Percival. We know the evil and the holiness in one's eyes is Tristan. We know that the boy with the constantly shifting appearance is very, very likely whatever Diane King's kid's name is, because we still haven't learned that. And we know the boy with gold-colored magic is Lancelot. And I wonder why the magic is gold. Maybe that has to do with his Lady of the Lake training, because when you think about it, he shouldn't... I don't think Bon had gold magic. I don't think Elaine had gold magic. Elaine had wind magic. Unless, were Elaine's wings golden? I don't think they were. So it's weird to see Lancelot with this new power, but once again, Lady of the Lake training. And we're just in a really interesting spot right now. I don't like how dumb I keep saying Tristan. I don't like how dumb Percival is. Like, he seems to just be following whatever lead he can get. I understand he's new to the world, but I figured Donnie would be like, kid, we can't just keep following these random people and taking everything they say at face value. But obviously, he has no control over Percival. We're in an interesting spot right now, and I honestly can't wait to see where things go. Hopefully they go in a good direction. I'm intrigued to see Leonis. Please let us not actually have a 200-mile journey to Leonis. Let there be like another warp orb or something like that. Please. I mean, like, I just want to see Meliodas, alright? Like, I don't care. I love the original series. I want to see some of the old characters. I gotta get some of their opinions on the world right now. I want to see what they even know about the world right now, because we're in such an interesting spot. So, Nakaba, please, I know you want your slow burn story, but darn it, give me something different. No, I'm kidding. Give me something old. I want to see Meliodas, please. But regardless of that, what do you guys think about the chapter? I think it's great. I think, honestly, once again, I don't think there's anything wrong with this chapter. I'm not sure how I would improve it. I love all the intrigue and mystery. I love the relationship building we get between Ironside and Pelgard. I love every little aspect of this new Camelot. I love everything. Only thing I don't like is Percival. Because, like, a lot of people have been talking to me in the comments about how Percival gives us mad Kid Goku vibes. And once y'all mentioned it, I get it too. I don't know. Like, you know I don't like characters that seem dumb, and Percival seems dumb. So, I don't know. I'm really mixed on Percival. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited? What do you think we're going to get next chapter? I think we're hopefully going to leap to Leonis, or we're going to have a long journey to Leonis since it's 200 miles away. I hope we just leap to Leonis, but what do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section down below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.